Hello everyone and welcome again to our channel. It's me, Tshegofatso Ramutla, your sister in Christ. It's been a while since we've had a chat. I've been observing, I've been quiet, just looking and, just doing my research again, trying to find out what is going on. I've been waiting, or rather, the Holy Spirit has been waiting on me to deliver the topic we're going to speak about today. I haven't really had enough courage to come and talk about it because I wanted to make intensive research on it. And it's something that is really, I think everyone is well aware of it. So, what we're talking about today is nothing new. I mean, I've spoken to you a lot about transhumanism. I've spoken to you about protecting your DNA. And I've spoken to you a lot about the elite that run this world. You know, and I think we are now aware that, evil is on a rise rapidly. I don't know if you can sense it or feel it, but can you feel that the devil is under pressure? He's under so much pressure that he's rushing. He's in such a rush. I was um, on TikTok and on YouTube, and just doing research on Google and other people that, are well aware of the chaos that's happening on this planet. And I was listening to one lady. She's just a person who loves to cook, and she lives in the states. And as she was presenting this video that she was prepping, where I think she was cooking a mac and cheese recipe. Yeah, and she said something very, very intriguing that I wasn't aware of. I mean, I'm in South Africa, and we can sometimes be delayed on news that's happening overseas, some like more or less important news, simply because there are so many distractions that catch the eye, our attention. So some things we tend to miss. That's why I have been seriously researching and away from everyone. She alluded to the fact that this was last week. She says, so here in the US, we are now going into a system where they are eradicating paper money, and they are telling us that we need to get used to the system of cryptocurrency, which is something we've spoken about a lot, where they now getting rid of money, and if they're introducing crypto is digital cash, which will have one universal language. So your currency, as we use rands, they use dollars, some use yens in China or Japan, whatever, and then francs and so on, and pounds and so on and so forth. In Botswana they use the pula. Yeah, you get it. They're going to get rid of that, and if the US is doing it, it's going to be a ripple effect where it affects the whole world, and we will all be using digital currency. And I did talk about the fact that, well, we are kind of used to using digital currency because we use our debit cards. We use our cards to buy any for transactions, but we still have cash in our pockets. And simply for people like the vendors on the streets that sell these copas, that sell vegetables, fruits, that sell roasted pork or chicken, whatever it might be, on the streets, and they don't use uh, um, a machine or card, so we pay them by cash, and all of that is going to fade away. But in if we really analyze it, we know that this is the introduction of the chip where everyone will need to have a chip in their hands or foreheads or whatever, and that's when we scan to buy and sell. Like Revelations says, people will people that don't have the mark will not have access to buy and sell. So this is really happening, and we can't be oblivious to it anymore. But what scares me is the fact that we have now come to embrace AI so badly, and it's like being introduced to us like so quickly, so fast, that from December to now it's been AI this, AI that. I mean, companies have been phasing out their old systems and going into AI. I'll give you a simple example. A few years ago, I think before COVID, there was a debate that, if companies, for instance, like a burger chain that we all familiar with, wanted to replace its workers with machines. And even today, when you go into those burger chains, you'll find a big screen there where you just select your meal, and you can either pay with your card or cash there, or go to the till. And as time goes on, the till won't be there anymore. You'll be forced to use your card to pay, and the only people that will be available are those guys cooking the meals. If not, if they are not robots, then maybe those people will still have their jobs because they need to turn the burgers, check the fries, whatever. But it's a system that's been implemented, and I saw that even um, at a famous um, fried chicken place, they now do this. So you when you are around your neighborhood, around your towns, or at the mall or whatever, you are now being introduced to these things, and they are kind of forced down on you. You have no say but to join the program, so they will sit there and teach you. I mean, I think the pandemic also was a way of forcing people to getting used to ordering online. So everything will be online, including your subconscious will be online. So you'll be living in this virtual world. The whole day you'll lie there on your bed and you'll be in a fantasy world simply because you are hooked onto the internet 24/7. And you can literally work in a virtual world and make currency, digital currency. So that's a huge worry that I'm picking up right now. But I think I really wanted us to talk about AI. We saw that now they are introducing robotic wives, and of course, will be robotic husbands soon. Now, again, in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve for that family unit, that family bond. And when there was a flood, God made sure that Noah had his wife on the ark, and his sons had their wives too, for a recreation of humankind. So that has always been God's plan, husband and wife. It has never been robot and human. So when the fallen angels defiled themselves with humankind, they wanted to create their own race, and that race has been alive. As I always tell you, there are 13 bloodlines of the um, reptilian seed, or the evil bloodline, the corrupt bloodline, 13 families in the world, and they are those that rule the world, and they've taken over in everything: media, religion, and every aspect of life. farm in the farmer care and the food industry, textiles or manufacturing industry, the fashion rather industry, and so much more. So, with that being said, they've always had like hybrids, or we've always had hybrids around us. And I think, it was important for God to emphasize the fact that He didn't want the Israelites to mingle with different kinds, because He knew that the different kind were hybrids. And I think also what's important was God saying we shouldn't, have intercourse before we are married. We should stick together, because He was avoiding this whole thing of, jumping from one person to another. Because if you think about it right now, there's a lot, from the feminist movements, from this LGBT, what, ZYKNM movement, and so many more things are changing. So when God said we really should wait and get married so we have a husband and wife, He was avoiding such things because He knew these things were going to follow. And today we didn't listen, of course. I mean, I'm one of them. I never got married, but I'm a mom of two, and it's human error that we do. But you know, you then realize that at some point, you and your partner, if you grow together, you like Mina, I'm from a place where the father of my children is someone who I met when I was still in high school, and we stayed together for a very long time. But when you grow, you sometimes grow apart, because you realize, oh, this is not the person that I think is the right person for me, and that other person also thinks the same. No, I thought Tsoho would be the one, but she's actually not. It happens, and people grow apart and they go their separate ways, and then you go on and meet someone else and meet someone else, and then sometimes you kind of realize that, whew, it actually hurts to be in a position where you can't trust someone, or you are not loved enough, or it doesn't stimulate you to want to stick together. And that's why people end up being lesbian and gay. you know I mean, this could be me just being ignorant about the whole LGBT whatever, and I'm not endorsing it. We know very well that that's a sin. That's why Sodoma and Gomorrah went down, because they were practicing that. We know that the Grecians were practicing that, and we know that that's a trend, that's a ritual the occult believes in. So what am I alluding to? I'm just trying to say that God, everything that He says, it's for a plan, because He can see into the future where we are unable to, which is where we are sitting at now, where evil is on the rise. That's why even every company now is endorsing gay pride, and now people don't even consider marriage as a sacred gift from above. They trying to run away from that. So the devil's plan is really to eradicate the family bond, and have a man and a man marry each other, have a woman and a woman marry each other, and that is cutting reproduction of having another human being. And they are now offering people a choice where you can manufacture your own baby in a lab, and it can grow in a bottle somewhere, an incubator, and you'll have this little child that you developed by a machine by selecting characteristics, blue hair, blonde hair, black skin, intelligence, or an IQ of a certain level and whatever. But then it's a synthetic in a sense, or more like a clone in a lab. And that, of course, it's like a spit in God's face to say, We don't need you, we can do it ourselves. But of course, then those little babies created in a lab don't have souls, so automatically they're hybrids, and what's going to inhabit that body will be a demon entity. So you need to look at this in a deeper level where you don't just look at it and say, ah, batomile, hey, makhoa, or you just say, ah, the world, it's what it is, and we can't fight it as long as I'm keeping to myself. You can't say that. You really need to see it for what it is, and we all need to stand together and say, no, we can't. We need to do it the original way that God had planned it to be. But is it simple as me saying it? Of course not. I mean, they started with the schooling system for them to lie and, tell us so many lies for years on end. And when you are done with your matric and you go to college or varsity and you are done with that, you realize I just went there for nothing.